Most people drive past someone standing in the rain. This man stopped, and that one decision completely changed his life. Marcus had been working double shifts at the warehouse for 6 months straight, not because he loved it, but because rent doesn't care about your feelings, and his 8-year-old daughter Emma needed new shoes, school supplies, and about 100 other things that don't pay for themselves. He was tired, the kind of tired that sits in your bones. Every single night he drove home on the same road, past the same bus stop, thinking about the same problems. But one Tuesday night in October, something was different. It was raining so hard you could barely see the road, and standing at that bus stop, no umbrella, no jacket, just completely soaked, was a woman. She looked exhausted. She was still wearing her nurse's uniform, scrubs completely wet through, just staring at her phone with that look people get when they already know the news is bad. Marcus almost didn't stop. He had Emma waiting at home with the babysitter. He had exactly $11 in his account until Friday. He had 0 reasons to stop and 100 reasons to just keep driving. But he stopped. He rolled down the window and said, "Hey, you okay? You need a ride somewhere?" The woman looked up. Her name was Diana. She was 34, worked 12-hour shifts at the hospital 3 blocks away. And her car had broken down that morning. She'd called 3 different people to pick her up. Nobody came. She'd been standing in that rain for 40 minutes. She got in. Now, here's the thing about small acts of kindness. Most people think they don't matter. You do something nice, life moves on, nobody remembers. That's what Marcus thought too. He drove Diana to her apartment, maybe 15 minutes out of his way. She said thank you. He said no problem. She got out. He went home. That was it, or so he thought. What Marcus didn't know, what he couldn't have known, is that Diana wasn't just a nurse. She was also a volunteer with a local community organization that helped struggling single parents. She'd been doing it quietly for years. No cameras, no social media posts, just real help for real people who were drowning. And something about Marcus stayed with her. Maybe it was the way he apologized that his car was messy. There was a little girl's drawing on the dashboard and a half-eaten granola bar in the cup holder. Maybe it was how he talked about his daughter the whole drive, not complaining. Just explaining his life like it was completely normal to be this exhausted and this devoted at the same time. Or maybe it was just the fact that a man with $11 in his bank account still stopped to help a stranger. Diana didn't say anything that night. She just went inside. But 3 days later, Marcus got a knock on his door. It was Diana, and she had 2 people with her. A woman named Carol from the community organization, and a man named James who ran a local job placement program. Marcus stood there in his doorway in his work clothes, completely confused. They sat down at his kitchen table. Emma was doing homework in the next room, and they laid out something Marcus hadn't even known existed. There was a program, funded privately, not by the government, specifically designed to help single working parents who were one bad week away from losing everything. It covered emergency rent assistance, covered childcare costs, and had connections to better paying jobs for people willing to work hard. Diana had referred him. She'd written him a personal letter. She'd told them about the man who stopped in the rain. Marcus sat there and didn't say anything for almost a full minute. Now you might think this is the part where everything magically gets fixed. But that's not how real life works, and this story isn't a fairy tale. What came next was hard. Marcus had to fill out applications, go through interviews, sit in waiting rooms after 12-hour shifts. There were weeks where he thought it wasn't going to work out. There was one night where Emma asked him if they were going to have to move, and he didn't know what to say. So he just hugged her for a long time. But here's what's real. According to research from Harvard, on social connection and economic mobility, people with even one strong community connection are significantly more likely to recover from financial hardship than those who are completely isolated. One connection, that's all it takes to change the direction of someone's life. Not a miracle, not luck. Just one person who sees you. Marcus got a new job. It paid 40% more than the warehouse. He didn't have to work doubles anymore. He was home for dinner most nights. Emma started sleeping better because kids feel everything, even the things you think you're hiding. And 6 months after that rainy Tuesday night, Marcus was sitting in the same car, on the same road, driving past the same bus stop. It was raining again. There was someone standing there. He stopped. That's the thing about this story that gets me every time. It's not about one act of kindness. It's about what happens when kindness becomes the way you move through the world. Scientists actually studied this. It's called the helper's high. When you do something genuinely good for someone else, your brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. You feel better. You sleep better. Your stress levels drop. Kindness is literally good for your health. But most of us never experience it because we're too busy, too scared, or too convinced that our small actions don't matter. Marcus wasn't a rich man when he stopped that night. He wasn't in a position to give money or resources or anything that society tells us we need before we can help someone. He just had a car and 5 extra minutes, and enough humanity left in him to not drive past a soaked stranger in the rain. And Diana wasn't looking to change someone's life that night. She was just a woman trying to get home after a brutal shift. But because one stranger treated her like a human being, she turned around and did the same. This is what nobody tells you about kindness. It's not a transaction. It doesn't work on a schedule. You don't get to choose when it comes back to you or how. You just do the thing and then you let it go. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, the universe has a completely insane way of making things right. There's a study from the University of British Columbia that found that people who spend even small amounts of money or time on others report higher levels of happiness than people who spend everything on themselves. The size of the act doesn't matter. What matters is that you did it. Marcus didn't spend money. He spent 15 minutes and a little bit of gas. Emma got new shoes that year. She also got her dad back, the one who wasn't too tired to read to her at night. And Marcus never drove past that bus stop again without looking. Because now he knew what it felt like to be seen by a stranger. And once you know that feeling, you can't unknow it. So next time you're driving and you see someone standing in the rain, just stop. You have no idea who they are. You have no idea what that 15 minutes might mean to them. Or to you. Watch the next video on your screen right now. I promise you won't regret it.